I feel something of a return to form these past few days. Not the sort of return that I had while stealing from Lady Morrodale's, no, but the flip side of that behavior. Study. Deep study. Dark, strange secrets, new gadgets and tools, a hefty book, and even a begrudging professor. uh, Disregard that last bit. What I'm trying to say is that I have been studying lately, preparing for the near conclusion of this murder mystery, or at least that's how it's beginning to feel. You develop an instinct for this sort of thing, and though I felt quite lost only a few days ago, with each new item acquired or new chapter read, I've been able to steer back on course, though we are far from smooth sailing. In order to understand the weight of my study, we must first revisit the pieces. We are involved in this case because we suspect that the perpetrators are part of the cult that planted a strange, magical eye in En's head and killed a number of people for sport. We call them the Snapdragons, though we don't know their official name, just that they deal in mind-meddling magic and wear silver mask pins during special events. En had no leads about this incident until recently. I have been doing research on their behalf to help fill in the missing pieces of their past and plan a trajectory for their future. This entire case is, in part, an extension of that research. And it has been fruitful, which, as you can imagine, is a complex thing to be. We are at the stage where learning about the Snapdragons is the same as preparing for the outcome of this case. These lines are converging, or perhaps already converged. So, firstly, I learnt about aberrations, gibbering Malthus, Dolgrims, Dolgaunts, and Dalkia, the Nothic, the Beholder. All information is good information, but that does not make the knowledge easy to have. And when I shared it yesterday, well, En had just come home from an appointment with Detective Brina Dimadani. Drained, I can imagine, now that I suspect the detective knows about the Snapdragons. And here I am with a pamphlet of information that suggests not only that our opponents may be horrific monsters, but that En might become one themselves. Only a suggestion. Alas, my own dismay at being the bearer of bad news was not enough reason to keep my companions in the dark, not when the threat is at our doorstep. En received the news as expected. It is bleak. But, thankfully, I had treasures. I gave En an umpire coin, which can detect when and how you have been affected by a spell. Initially, it was for them both to determine who may need it most, but En claimed it rather swiftly, and I'm sure Luca wouldn't mind. Though maybe it is Luca who will need it. He was, after all, the one to be approached by Alonzo Reedfoot, the butler, Edmund Beckett's servant. We suspect he may be involved in the murder of Tarek Elhim. He was seen speaking to Warfred. Though I'm unsure as yet whether he is the murderer, an accomplice, a facilitator, or just an observer. But he came bearing horrible news. A warning. Alonzo told us that Damon has a tendency of losing servants. Seems that I will no longer be associating with Damon Ir Adantego, lest I, humble servant, swiftly follow suit. I must wonder if that's what Alonzo was expecting. Seems a bit crude, doesn't it? In seriousness, I can see a few outcomes, none of them good. The way I think of it, how do I put this? Some spiders build webs, the webs catch prey, then the spider feeds. I don't believe we are giving him too much credit to assume that this is a thread of a web. Best case scenario, he is inept and ham-fisted, and we will fly free unscathed. Worst case scenario, we are already stuck, and yet unaware of how badly. Luckily for Damon, it seems that our entire team isn't suddenly turning on him. Our attention remains fixed on Alonzo, because why? Why is he trying to sow doubt with Luca? Why does he want to speak with Damon? What makes a butler suitable to be the right-hand man of a spy for a decade? What is his role in all of this? And yes, it would be irresponsible of me not to consider that there is likely truth in this rumor about Damon's reputation, but that will come later. Or all at once in an opportune moment, as it often does. Besides, Alonzo has given us something else to think about. Jaylee, Hazelwit. En has become close to this artist since the gallery, and her artwork was almost won at auction by Sir Edmund Beckett himself. Seems Alonzo was preparing to make good on that purchase, and thus we are preparing to intercept. That is a plan still in progress. All the while, I am preparing for Warfred to set the time for our appointment, and the more I learn about it, the more I feel like it might be our final one. And if he is tied to Alonso and Alonso to Edmund and Edmund to the Snapdragons, then we all must equip ourselves with knowledge and gear to not only survive these encounters, but leave our opponents worse for wear. Otherwise, they will come back, hard and fast, and make quick work of all of our efforts. Spiders do build webs daily after all, some of them anyway, it really depends. In any case, it is important to remember that every attempt I have made to plan will be matched, rather may be matched, and exceeded by people that have spent their entire lives doing this, who have trained and perfected the art of espionage, of conspiracy, of destabilizing and destroying factions, or people who are plainly destructive by nature in being self-serving and seeking glory, or the frightened, easily manipulated. There are many types of opponents, but they are cogs. Whether mortals or aberrations or somewhere in between, they are just moving gears in a vicious machine. And you don't need to be an artificer to jam the system, to break the web, you understand? It is difficult and it is troubling, but it is not impossible. Oh, and N's eyeball doesn't like being called Ivan or Iris, which means that it has an understanding of self, well enough to understand what it is not, so it is searching for what it is. It is hard not to consider the implications of this when I have been studying aberrations all evening, but that conundrum will also benefit from our research. So, in saying all of that, any questions?
Cute.
We pick up with En and Luca holding newspapers, bearing the news of Tarek Elham's death 1 week prior suddenly come to light. You're on your way to the studio of Jaylee Hazelwood to answer a cry for advice. I'll just show you once again the headlines.
Great. Love
And,
these.
Whoa.
small blurb summaries of the newspapers you've picked up.
Fantastic. Do you want to read them out, Mim? To
Do I?
refresh?
I guess I haven't read the papers yet.
You haven't
And
yet.
you do enjoy the political intrigue.
I do.
Oh no, she can't read.
Alas! I think I used up all my reading. We could read one each.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys go first. I'll read the shit one.
Go first then.
Yeah.
Thorny
Yeah.
Theater defaced, accused of darling playwright's death. The Regalport Herald has a front page sizzler saying that overnight the front house of the Gallery of Shadows and many of the posters around town for the highly controversial opera The Folly of the Four Sons have been defaced with various slogans announcing the death of Tarek Elham and accusing Thorani of hiding the fact. Look to future issues as journalists will be investigating these claims.
Playwright's demise behind postponed performances? Panoply, a mid-tier culture and arts magazine that usually sticks to simple reporting on upcoming or past art events, suddenly has a hot tip that the reason why the 3 weeks' worth of tickets to the lauded opera The Folly of the Four Sons have been refunded by mail is due to a catastrophic death of the playwright. The leading star, Lydia de Thorani, apparently witnessed the murder herself at the attack on the Grand Auction Hall, but news of Tarek Elham's death has been widely suppressed until now.
Is there a murderess among the sea dragons? The truth of the playwright's death that the captains don't want you to know. The Scuttlebutt, a widely derided gossip and conspiracy rag, has a full-blown conspiracy article that playwright Tarek Elham was publicly murdered, but all news of it suppressed by the sea dragons to protect the reputation of his erstwhile romantic partner, Myraldine Frostroot. The article goes down a dozen different paths of conspiracy, Frostroot murdered Elhim for an affair with the leading actress. Can you guys gasp appropriately? Say it again. Yeah, thank you. Frostroot murdered Elhim for an affair with the leading actress. A different sea dragon murdered Elhim out of jealousy.
Holy shit!
Thurani was dissatisfied with ticket sales, so they murdered Elhim to stoke a controversy,
No
or controversy,
way!
only
They
to be brought
would.
to heel by Ryga. Elhim was murdered by political enemies for exposing the true cause of Syria's destruction.
What?
Unclear whether those enemies were Syrian loyalist fanatics or anti-Syrian instigators. Your boy can't win.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And so on and so forth.
The news is on everybody's lips.
Yeah, it's like, does the town seem more bustly than usual?
It seems the regular amount of bustly, but for once there is a main subject of the day.
Yes, we hear rumblings of it as we're passing through.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Yep.
But for now, that must be set aside as you arrive at the shared ceramics studio to meet with Jaylee Hazelwood.
Yeah, and the studio seems fine, yeah, even though it has Thorani connections. There's no one, like, outside or around, or, like, looks like they're
No.
bugging this
No
place.
effigies or anything.
Or
No,
reporters
you're
looking
fine.
for a hot tip from the potters. The humble potters within.
No.
No one I have to beat the shit out of upon entry.
No.
Not yet.
Not yet. So I'm gonna leave the papers with Luca and leave Luca outside.
Yes, sir.
Into a bowl.
Don't forget to give him some water.
He's got his favorite music on.
I'm a good boy.
You are, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Anyway, you come in and it does not take long to see Jaylee, who is in front of house today. She greets you.
Yeah.
Oh, Castor!
Hey.
I wasn't expecting to see you so early.
Is this too early? Should I come back?
No. It's fine. It's fine. You got my letter, right?
I sure did. On that note,
Okay.
can I borrow you for a bit?
Sure. Yeah. Let me just. She quickly tells the others that she's going on an early break.
Great. Yeah, and we'll get her outside and is going to try and find some quiet place where they can talk.
Sure thing. Do you want to make a perception check and a stealth check?
I guess I might as well. Yeah, make a stealth check too.
And Luca can give you advantage if you are allowing his help.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, he's here anyway, so you can follow
Yeah.
along.
Jaylee waves hello.
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
I wave hello.
It's like, you're the coworker, Luca?
It's me. You are Dealey.
All right. So advantage on both checks or just
Both,
What?
yes.
okay?
Hey.
Better.
You're a little bit distracted, but you can trust Luca to keep an eye and to adequately shield you as you and Jaylee briskly walk to a secluded sort of courtyard back garden area within one of the like clusters of buildings. Like basically imagine a block of buildings that some are residential, some are businesses and stuff, and there's like a little back place where bins or private gatherings are, and it's completely empty because it's too fucking early in the morning to have anybody out here.
Good. That'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
There's
on the way.
a bench where you can sit if you choose.
Yeah. On the way in's probably just like having casual conversation with her, just kind of keep it loose. They don't want to dive directly into the tension, so just casual conversation until they get to the secluded location.
Okay. Pleasantries aside.
Yeah. So, I hear you're seeking my advice.
Yeah, I mean, you told me to be wary of them, so...
Yeah, did he speak with you himself, or...?
Yeah, the butler stopped by to ask if I would be willing to sell the piece that, was on auction
Mm-hmm.
for the same amount as they auctioned it off, just separately, simply because, well, you know, you were there.
Yeah, obviously things got a little messy. Right, so he's offering you the same amount. That's 210.
Oh, you remember.
I have a pretty good memory. I'm a detective for a reason.
Right.
So that's all he talked to you about, though.
Yeah. I basically kind of stalled and said that, I'd have to ask the auction house about it. So we've got a little bit of time. I just...
Good. Well, forget about me for a second. How do you feel about it?
It is a lot of money. So that would be nice to have, but I'm not so hard done by that I couldn't do without it. It's... She fidgets a bit.
It's a hard offer to turn down, isn't it?
Make an insight check, please. It's more that she doesn't really know how to say no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so annoying. That auction should have been a great opportunity for you, and a bunch of selfish bastards sabotaged it. Honestly, Lonzo should have a lot more competition than this.
Yeah, I kind of think most people forgot about the art after what happened.
Well, subject of the hour changes. I'm sure we can drum up some interest again. That is to say, like I said back at the auction, you shouldn't take the first offer you're given.
I guess so.
I know you can't always be picky, but I'm sure we can get your sculpture in the hands of someone who appreciates it a bit better. Look.
Well, let me know, I guess.
Well, first we have to deal with one pesky little individual. Well, first things first, I think. Our best course of action going forward is that I meet with him.
Oh, okay.
And look, I'll be straight with you. I've seen this Beckett guy take advantage of people before, ruin their lives. And that might not be what's happening here. For all I know, this could all be above board. I mean, your sculpture is so captivating, I'm sure. Just, like I said, I'm surprised he doesn't have more competition for the thing. But if there's anything else to this, then the sooner we know, the better.
Right.
And I'd just rather not leave you alone with it. On the off chance that something else is going on here. Yeah?
She nods. Sounds right to me.
Yeah, good. But if that makes you nervous, you don't have to be there. You don't have to be involved. I could meet him myself.
Are you okay with that?
I've handled worse people.
Yeah, but I'm really grateful that you're doing this all for me, but Jaylee fidgets a bit uncomfortably and looks away. I mean, I guess whatever you think is best.
Seems uncomfortable.
She's a little uncertain about this. She doesn't know what you're planning. From the way you sound, you're kind of putting your neck on the line. And there's also a degree of, while she trusts you and you have been very nice to her so far, she is also not so naive that she isn't aware that this offer could be for your own ends.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't suspect you of malicious intent, but she is aware that
Yeah.
there is probably something more going on here that she doesn't know.
People have angles.
Yep.
All right. Well, the alternative is I can act as your agent and we meet him together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
That sounds good.
Yeah. And then if I do anything off the wall that you don't really appreciate, then you can just give me a smack in the face.
I doubt that'll be necessary.
The point is that we'll be in this together.
She nods.
Whatever happens,
Yeah.
we'll deal with it as a team.
Yeah. That sounds
Alright.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's waiting on my reply, so when's a good time for us to do that?
Oh. I think maybe as soon as possible. I really would like to get this sorted without it dangling in the wind too long. Maybe,
She nods.
I don't know if we can swing tomorrow night. I was thinking possibly after the studio closes, we could get him alone, just the three of us, and then the hope is that we can figure out whatever he's angling for exactly. If it's just the sculpture or something else or whatever. Does that sound okay to you?
Yeah. I'll aim for either tomorrow or the day after in the evening. Then
All right. Yeah.
Okay. I guess that's what I'm doing today. Is arranging that.
All right. If you need any help writing the letter, I'm still here.
No, it should be fine.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. How you feeling?
I'm okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll figure this out.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, he buys the thing, or somebody else buys the thing, and then I just don't have to worry about it ever again.
That would be ideal, assuming you still want to part with it.
I mean, if I didn't want to part with it, I wouldn't have put it up on auction.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot has happened since then. You can always change your mind, but if you're all good with it, then you're the potter, I'm the clay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Alright. Good. En's gonna reach over and squeeze her shoulder and give it a little shake.
She gives you a smile.
You did the right thing, contacting me. And whatever's going on here, I'm gonna be here. So, it's all gonna work out.
Thanks. Thanks for the backup.
Thank you. Really, you're my backup. Don't have to be worried about a thing with you right there.
I think we'll end the scene there.
Alright.
Shall we
So cute.
switch over to Willow, or shall we follow En and Luca onwards to the Dimadani office?
I could follow you guys. I don't. I think mine's gonna be a flashback anyway. Like not flashback. Like an hour.
Yeah.
It's morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Either way.
I guess follow us then.
Okay.
Alright. Well, Audrey time then, I suppose.
We pick
Come
up with
up in
you
time.
again.
I cannot believe I've not made that joke before.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, then. We pick up with the two of you arriving at the Dimadani office, newspapers in hand, to see Brina, who also has her set of newspapers.
Mm.
Oh, see, you've already heard
Woken
the
up
news.
to the good news? Yes.
Well, this sure adds a wrinkle to it. It looks like somebody managed to spit out the gag.
Yeah. Certainly doesn't help to have reporters breathing down their next scoop's neck.
Well, obviously my main concern is how this will impact the ongoing investigation.
Mm-hmm. Have we heard anything from Meraldine yet?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have to meet her at the Hole of the Port Authority.
Oh, exciting. We're gonna have to play it discreet, lest we be followed
little bit.
around.
A little bit, yeah.
Audrey looks at Luca.
Luca made a face like, I'll try.
Sass don't quit.
Anyway, that being said, we're still going forward with the plan as it stands. I've, got materials set up for my end of the situation. Peter's all prepped and ready.
Excellent. Well, aside from dodging a few more unwanted eyes, hopefully we're still set to go.
At the very least, we can set up, our watchful eye
Mm-hmm.
until we can, find more lasting position for our stakeout.
Yes. Good first step. Keep an eye on it, and something explodes, at least we'll be aware.
Luca makes such a face.
Something the matter, Luca? Or is Audrey just putting you off?
It explodes. Doesn't sound very good.
Yeah, preferably we'd avoid that.
Preferably. I don't wish for it to become a self-fulfilling prophecy, don't get me wrong. I've just seen things go downhill very quickly. In the past.
You and me both.
Oh, I'm sure you have plenty of stories, Detective. Maybe then
Brina
this
sort
is...
of makes a face and shakes off a shudder.
Maybe when this is all over, we can share another drink and tell some stories.
Maybe. Anyway, let's go meet the woman of the hour, hey?
Sounds like a plan.
I think Luca makes a face like, am I invited? Or does she not want me there?
You're coming along too.
You're part of the investigation.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Didn't just bring you along to look pretty.
Yeah, I mean, just because you're taking a back seat for now doesn't mean you've been hugely helpful. I mean, I don't know how we would have figured out that whole situation with the cultists and the undead earlier.
Luca bristles with pleasure at being so complimented.
Aw.
Oh.
I helped with cultists. Aw.
I helped.
Vampires. Aw.
Did you say I'm pious?
I said
No,
vampires.
vampires.
Oh! I mean, you're not wrong, but...
Vampires? That's such a... That's good. Keep that in mind. That's a spin-off.
Anyway. You guys head over to the whole of the Port Authority together. Make another perception check, both of you.
Hey.
Oh.
Thanks, Luca.
Oh. Show up.
Yeah, Audrey, I
Not
think you're
just
busy
look pretty.
doing calculations, deep in thought. But Luca, you're keeping a weather eye. You notice
sir.
more than one secretary has the newspapers. There's some chatter about, and there are even some people with pens and notepads loitering.
Oh.
Mm. So lucky they're not getting a blast right now.
Literally, or figuratively. Hmm.
You,
Best keep our heads down.
yeah. You move through the building to a side lounge where you see Meraldine Frostrude sitting with her legs crossed, arms folded, sipping a cup of tea and looking like it is the bitterest of medicine.
Oh, sweetie.
Her expression lifts somewhat when you come in, but it's not because she's looking happier to see you, but rather that she is no longer alone to sulk with her thoughts.
Sweetie.
I know that look.
Good morning, darlings. I assume you've all heard the news. Brina says, good morning, Captain Frostrude. Yeah, very unfortunate news. I assume you're here to avoid any prying eyes. Meraldine nods and says, quite right, Detective. So, since my movements have been considerably hampered, I'm afraid I have not yet been able to procure the position for your investigation. But I have left that in the hands of some very capable friends of mine. We should be hearing back soon enough of a room or something or other to let. That will allow you to keep a close eye on our chief suspect.
Audrey nods.
Well, thank you for your work in these trying times.
Mhm.
Just making sure. Luca knows about the plans with the stakeout, right?
Yes, he would have
Yes,
been
okay,
informed
just-
at this point.
Just confirming. He's just sitting there looking like a lost animal.
Doing the Columbo walk. I don't know where I am, but like for real.
yeah.
Oh. Nah, you're privy. You're savvy.
I'm pretty?
Whatever.
Is there anything else I should know, or should I just ask for a lighter so that I can burn up these irritating requests that I've been saddled with?
Audrey, like, making a face to herself, like, yeah, I understand that instinct, that urge. Sit here burning all the papers. Been there.
She said requests, right? What requests?
Do you ask that out loud?
Can I, like, does she have them on display? Like, has she got them neatly spread out in front of her so that they're in prime position to be immolated?
I would say they have been slapped down haphazardly on the coffee table.
Can I see what they are?
Take a wild fucking guess.
Interview?
Yes.
Okay! I'm dumb, remember? My brain goes off when the Luca comes out.
Tits out, brain off, can't lose.
Yeah.
Audrey, like, doing a little
Actually, I
grimace.
lost almost everything, so
Oh,
I guess I've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing
Do
to
you
lose.
have someone who can handle those for you?
I'd rather keep them in my line of sight.
Right.
Do you want to make a insight check?
Yes.
Please.
Yes, I do.
An insight check.
Oh, come on.
I'll make one too. I'm here.
Yeah, and please.
That's
There we
fair.
go.
She is fuming, but is making sure to keep a tight leash on herself.
Hmm. She's angry. We don't have any tasks for her. Do we? That can busy her instead
No.
of leaving her to
No.
sit
No,
and simmer.
but she has her own work to do. She
He does
has,
still.
like,
Yeah.
she
be a
does still run
pirate.
she does still run a ship. So at the moment, like, so she says, well, if there is nothing else for me to do regarding the investigation, and Brina pauses and shakes her head, best to keep you out of the spotlight, I think. The more public scrutiny, the more likely the killer is going to get forewarned of our plans. So, the more separation you can build between yourself and the situation, the better, honestly. Miraldine sighs and nods. Sorry, I forgot to turn off the Brina voice there for a second.
I know, I thought you said her name, and I'm like, oh, detective.
No. Brina is too respectful for that.
Yeah.
Geraldine sighs and says, well, then I'll just have to spend my morning using this as my office.
Eh.
Brina nods. Well, I think in that case, I'd better go set up our, spying eyes, hey?
The sooner we can get this resolved, the sooner we can dispel all these annoying little fleas crawling about.
Well said. Brina sort of pauses and then says, Luca, why don't you, make sure nobody comes and bothers Captain Frostroot?
Luca nods sharply. Like, yeah, I'll do a task.
Audrey
And,
kind of knocks on Luca's breastplate, like, ah, yeah, bodyguard.
If the captain is willing.
Frostroot glances you over and says, sure, why not? Gives my crew a little more time to do actually useful things rather than having to fuss about my well-being.
Well, sounds like it's settled then.
Luca's posture changes immediately.
At attention.
Yep.
Okay. In that case... Good, well, we'll be in contact later. Rena gives a slight bow nod combo to Frostroot, who has pulled out a big ledger and fountain pen and is starting to do something with numbers and inventory, and who knows. You're
Oh,
not
no.
really sure,
I
Luca,
see numbers
what
and my
goes.
brain slides off.
Math memes, but Luca's kind of melting at the same time.
Yeah.
Audrey does a little salute and knocks on Luca's chest plate again. Like,
Don't have much fun without us.
She doesn't say that out loud, does she?
She does.
she does.
Oh, God.
She does.
As she's slipping out of the room, so you can't report.
Luca makes a face like, this is the one who I tied myself to.
You made her.
I
You
know,
helped
I
design
made
Audrey.
this.
You did.
What have I done? I've created a monster. Her name is Audrey.
Audrey is there, signing off. Slips out.
Gets out of stab range immediately, says something odd, and leaves.
Yep.
Hey, welcome,
have-
handshake.
I have fun.
It's a word for it.
glad somebody is.
Yeah.
Listen, everything sucks, and I have to worry about another meeting now.
Yeah.
Might as well have fun in the meantime before my shit gets rocked by a man that's 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
I think after a moment of silence, Luca quietly asks if Meraldine would like some flint.
There's a fireplace in this room. You can just toss them in there.
Legitimately?
Yes.
Oh, then I will.
The fireplace is not lit at the moment, but
Oh. Is it too warm to put it on?
you can... It'll be fine.
Then Luca just rips them up and starts chucking them into the fireplace.
Do you look at that?
I'm sure Luca can. I'm sure Luca can actually start the fire as well.
But you don't want to get too uncomfortable. Like sweaty, It's already tense.
I'm assuming the room is fine for a fire. Like,
I don't know, do they have air conditioning in Everon?
Yes.
First day of spring.
It's the first day of summer.
Summer.
So it's hot.
Even.
It's
That-
not that hot. It's
She's asking to
European
burn.
summer.
She wants the heat.
Oh.
She wants to destroy things. Just, you have to learn to
Okay.
accept that regardless of the heat outside, sometimes the heat inside is just ready to destroy, and you can't question it. So light the fire in the
Right.
fireplace, Luca.
Patting and
Okay, like fire, go down.
Okay. Do it because it looks hot doing it.
Literally.
Definitely hot.
Stoking flames and stuff. Do it for the themes, bro.
Yeah, okay. I will set down
Just
fire.
like- I started laughing before because I imagined Luca just being like, okay, tosses the papers onto the fireplace, and Miraldine like, light the fire. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
honestly.
please be inept. Please don't be inept in front of Miraldine. You're good, Captain.
No, I think. Okay, wait. Luca knows what the weather is like, right?
Yes, he notes it.
Luca
Okay,
is
cool.
there and experiencing it. You can just create a small fire that will burn out quickly,
Yes.
not
okay.
a roaring blaze.
Cool. There's been too much thought into this.
Don't think too hard, handsome.
Oh, I really
my God.
don't. Did she say that out loud? I will.
No.
Cry. Luca will
No.
cry.
No,
No.
that's me, the DM,
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Let him have
quoting
some
Ada
dignity.
Wong.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Did you not, bro? Gosh.
I'm stupid.
Just light the fire, Luca.
Yeah, okay. Fire lighting.
Maybe
noise.
even read the messages. No, unless you're nice.
I mean,
Can I
half
see-
of them are opened anyway, so you can make a perception check to skim.
Yeah. See what I glean. Fuck off.
You're polite
You politely avert your eyes as you shove
Yes.
them writing first into the ashes. It's rude to read other people's mail.
It is. That's
Yeah,
in
of course.
character.
So, I think Luca is just going to be here for a while, so unless you want to talk to the good captain,
Oh, maybe I do.
we'll cut over to somebody else.
Can I talk to Captain Fruster?
You can.
You can think about it. We can come back.
Yeah. Yeah?
Yeah.
You have time.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Speaking of reading other people's mail, is it us? Is it Mim time?
It's,
Is it Willow
it's
time?
Mim time. It's Willow time.
Okay. Hi. I think so. We're like winding back the clock a bit.
Earlier that morning,
Yeah.
just after Luca and Anne have left for the day, Willow, you're busy, what? Tinkering, attuning?
Yeah. I think. What time do you reckon you guys left?
8, 9-ish?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think after Willow finished their poison tab armor installment thingy, and after
Mhm.
you guys left, they're probably going to go downstairs to check Damon's mail. Not Damon's mail specifically, but mail directed to Damon's rooms.
Room, yes.
Yeah.
You go downstairs to the front desk, ask if there has been any mail addressed to the rooms.
Gasket.
None yet.
Okay.
That being said, though, out of the corner of your eye, you do spot that there is newspapers. You just skim over the headlines. Not all of the newspapers that we've seen so far are here, but the Regal Port Herald is definitely in stock at the Gold Dragon here. So, you
Ugh.
get to see the headline, Thorani Theatre Defaced, accused of darling playwright's death.
Oh. I imagine Willow walking away from the front desk, like, no mail, like, and then doing that wander past the newsstand, backs up, looks again, takes. Is this free?
It's free for guests, yes.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, okay, Willow's going to do an urgent skim, so let me just revisit what it said again. Regal Port. Folly of the defaced with various slogans announcing the death of Tarek and accusing Thorani of hiding the fact. Yeah, okay. I think Willow had plans. You can see the acceleration suddenly ramp up in their head, and then they will take the paper and set off at pace to the... Is it Wavecrest?
It's the
Wavecrest
Quayside
Quarter?
Court.
Quayside Court. Always get those two
Yes.
confused.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they are returning to see what has happened.
Okay.
I'm going to make a perception check like as soon as I get outside just to see what the vibe is.
Yep. Go ahead. Well, the vandalism hasn't spread everywhere, but you do know, especially now that you're looking for it, that yes, people are reading the headlines. People are talking about this. I don't think that perception check is quite high enough to see the other two things if you're not looking for them specifically.
Other two things?
The other two newspapers that are also published on this
Oh, no.
subject.
This is like a on the way kind of perception check.
Yeah.
Like a in motion. And I also think that Willow is occasionally looking back at the paper just to see if there's anything else to glean from like the paper itself. And if not, then they'll pocket it and then like move faster, basically.
Yeah. The closer you get to the Wavecrest Quarter, the more you see posters of various theatrical showings, musical numbers, like musical groups and such. And you do start to see posters of the Folly of the Four Sons being taken down in the more heavily trafficked spaces
Can
by
I
street
skid
cleaners.
Can I skid to a halt near one of these and look at what it says? If it's like I see the first one that has something written on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think it says something like Thorani is built on lies. As you keep, there's like multiple of these, and almost every single one of them has a slightly different variation before they start repeating. It's done in like thick, bright red paint.
Is vandalism done by hand or by magic?
It can be done by both.
Okay, cool.
I think in this case it is largely paint.
Okay.
Yeah. What's the general theme? Because I think Willow might slow a little just to perceive. Do I have to do another check or?
Yeah, give me either a perception or investigation check.
If I can find one that isn't too occupied, I will stop to look at it. Investigation. Ugh. Damn, we are cursed, then.
It would seem.
I can imagine I'm being swept aside by the street sweepers, though, in these ones, because it's like main traffic area. I've stopped at the first sign of it.
Yeah. You kind of have to keep walking, but the you do end up reading a few as you go past until you finally end up at the Gallery of Shadows. The ones that you read on the way past are like, blood is on your hands, your star is dead, why do you hide the truth? Things like that.
Is it all the same handwriting?
I would say yes. Though it's hard to call it handwriting because it's done with like big sort of sweeping brush strokes. You know how like handwriting gets messy when you're using a large implement.
Mm.
You know how a lot of spray paint graffiti tends to look like the same handwriting
Mm.
because of
Somewhat
the
like
medium that it's being
Yeah.
used with.
So there's only
Similar.
so few ways to write legibly with paint.
Yeah, exactly. It's all in all caps as well, so.
Yeah. Still, like, you can sort of, I guess not on a 10, but that'd be something I think of.
Yeah.
Possibly when I get to the Quayside Court, because I think Willow, like, if they aren't succeeding at doing their investigations on the run, they are going to
Mhm.
move even faster to the Galleria,
Yeah.
thinking like whatever's happened there would be pertinent to see
Yeah.
before it's cleaned up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you head to the Galleria. The literal front steps have been painted a bloody red. With like a bunch of different slogans. There's some on the actual building itself. You can see various cleaners trying to like scrub it off at this point, but even though the majority of the paint has been removed, there's still this like stain of the writing that leaves it legible.
Hmm.
It's stuff like Tarek Elham died in silence, blood is on your hands. You profit off the corpse of Siri. Tarek Elham died and nobody mourns. It's very aggressive, let's say.
Yeah. Ugh, I think there's like a turn in Willow's stomach as they see it. Even if it's like only paint, I still imagine like the visual is obviously
Yeah.
like gruesome looking in the way that any spillage of red paint has the
Yeah.
implication of blood,
Yes.
obviously.
Yeah.
And especially imagining this place is quite like obviously seeing this place not covered in blood paint is making this stand out quite a bit. How are the people around? Like, who else is around? Can I make a check?
Yeah, I think there's the people cleaning. There's a handful of people who are obviously like security or ushers for the theater who are sort of trying to hold back the crowd of people who are watching this happen.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's not isolated. There's not like a huge scene happening, but there is a hubbub, let's say.
Hmm. Okay, what can we do first? This place would have a lot of posters, I imagine, yeah?
Yes.
Can I try to get up close to one of the posters to maybe take one?
Make a stealth check, I think.
And I have advantage because of my armor.
Yeah. Well, roll to contest.
Ouch.
No doings. I think people are specifically watching the posters so that nobody takes them.
Okay, never mind.
So you
I'll
get
back away.
dissuaded pretty
Never mind.
sharply.
I will. Upon anyone noticing Willow, they will back away. Like, I wasn't even here. I wasn't even looking. Don't worry about it. Like, if they do that, like hands up, like I was just looking, even though they completely had intention to steal. Okay, something else then. I think they're going to sort of skirt along the like hubbub of the crowd. Can I do a thing? Can I do a general investigation? Investigation or perception first?
What are you looking for exactly? What are you trying to figure out? What questions do you have?
Investigation would be like just trying to figure out what can be gleaned from the scene in general. Perception is checking if there's anyone here that is watching or reacting that I know. And I just can't. I think perception might be one that comes first because it doesn't mean I have to speak to them immediately if I do see anyone. So I'll do a perception check. Fish dog is not out, so flat. God help me. Okay.
Hey. Cool. So you're looking for people who are watching this unfold?
I'm looking for any recognizable faces, but also like looking for anyone that looks suspicious. So yes, I guess someone watching or like anyone skulking.
Okay.
But familiar faces as well.
I don't think you spot any familiar faces currently. However, in terms of skulking, you probably see like a couple of shiftier figures. I want to say like a goblin and a halfling with a notepad and hat sort of pulled heavily over the head to obscure the features, trying to take notes and weave between the legs of other people.
So reporters.
Yeah.
And perhaps a silly question, but off the back of that, are people mostly upset, angry? What's the vibe of or is that an insight check?
I think surface read is people are... The vibe is generally curious, a little bit scandalized, and nosy.
Yeah.
Here
what's
it's
happened?
mostly like rubbernecking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of rubbernecking. There, you maybe actually on a 21 and perception check, I think you spot a few people in the crowd who have the other two newspaper articles from the different publications that are talking about this. So you get to spot the Knopley, which is the demise behind postponed performances. You see the people holding those are probably trying to accost the ticket cashier to be like, why was my ticket cancelled? I want a full refund. And it's just like, when will the show be back on? Are all of the plays cancelled? What's going on? That sort of general public rowdiness of everybody asking all at once.
So that's when I click that, it's hit multiple papers at once.
Yep.
That's
you also overhear the things of like, do you really think he was having an affair with the lead actress? No way, Thorani would never allow that. That sort of thing.
I need to say, I thought it meant Myraldine was having an affair with.
I immediately assumed lesbians, so...
Well, your reading comprehension leaves something to be desired.
It really does.
Oh, man. Leading to... Oh, God. Anyway, yeah, okay. I think then, off the back of that, Willow's gonna start snooping. Investigation check. I'll roll one first, and then we'll see if I need fish dog.
Okay. It looks like there's just too much traffic here to get a good read on this situation. Your major leads at the moment are the fact that it is a thick red paint. And that 3 different newspapers have 3 different articles on 3 different aspects of this. The Herald is specifically reporting on the graffiti, which clearly happened overnight. And And clearly the whole reason why this is so difficult to clean off is because this paint is not water soluble.
Yeah, I was gonna
Which
say
makes sense because it rained last night.
So true.
It stormed last night even.
Do I know? Is it then? Can I just then assume that it was off after the rain, or I guess waterproof and before the rain? No, because then it would have been daytime.
It could have been done during the rain.
Is paint capable of that? Magic paint? Is paint actual paint capable of that?
Yeah, you get non-water soluble paints.
Yeah, I'm getting the impression. I'm getting the impression this was done during the storm.
Quality paint, even.
Yeah.
So no one
No,
saw.
I'm just double checking. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, does acrylic paint exist in this universe yet? Probably not. But like,
Oil paint
I get what
still
you mean.
does that.
Oil paint? Oh, because
Yeah.
it resists. Oh, so funny.
Because it's oil based.
Which motherfucker is out here using oil paint at like $15 a milliliter?
Oh my
It does.
god, yeah.
Okay.
Information.
The other thing that you need to know is there is also like outdoor proof paint or paint that you use on ships. That has to be necessarily waterproof.
Twas a joke! A lot of the time you paint indoors, it dries and then becomes waterproof. That's what I'm just checking that this is. So this is a paint that can happen during the rain. I can assume that. Okay. So by the cover of a storm, somebody was able to do this. Is that my inference from now? Is that the...
That's certainly what the Herald is implying.
I really would like one of these posters. How else could I don't need it. It's not like I can do a sample on it. Well, I could, I guess, if it's... Is it Vermilion?
Just tell them you're working with Brina Dimadani.
I'm not... No!
I have friends who are working with Brina Dimadani. I'll just take this.
What the hell? She might get one.
God.
Not like that helps me. I guess I've noticed the newspaper thing for now.
Yes. So, for a persuasion check or the price of 2 coppers, you can get the other newspapers and read those over.
Could I stand next to someone and make a look of like, can I please be handed that? Someone annoying. I'll just see if I can persuade them.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Hey!
Okay, you've managed to take some newspapers off of people who are clearly done and are like, well, there's nothing really interesting. Like, people who have been here for like maybe 10, 15 minutes and been like, nothing interesting's happening anymore. I guess I'll move on.
I kind of imagine Willow to do that. You know, someone like complaining at the front desk and Willow's like, here, can I have a look at that paper? And they're like, sure. And then Willow just walks off with it.
Yeah, yeah.
So one of those ones. Yeah. And they'll just kind of walk and read. They'll keep an eye out on the way while they're walking and reading to observe if there are any more posters to take anywhere. Possibly in like the less frequent part of town, though I don't know if those will be like covered.
Yeah, make one more investigation check, see if you can't find one that hasn't been swiped yet. Yeah, I'd say that's good enough.
Oh, okay. Sorry if it's not a 20, I just...
You find one that's like in sort of an alleyway that's a couple blocks away from the Gallery of Shadows.
It's perfect. Does it have... What's written on this one? What's my prize? Which bar have I taken home?
I think it's Tarek Elham died in silence.
Great. That's a rough one. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
You always know just what to say. Nevertheless, Willow is relieved to take it down, and they will like look it over. Anything I can glean from a closer look at this just now, or am I going to roll it up, put it in my pocket?
it to Lori.
Yeah, so this was applied with a, I want to say, 5 centimeter wide brush, very hastily. Also, this poster is big. And like the text covers basically the entire poster. This poster is about the size of you.
Whoa.
It's like a 1 meter 50 long poster by, I want to say, either by about 70 wide, 70 centimeters wide.
Can I suggest that my other investigation check was actually getting Fish Dog involved as well?
Sure.
Because like I kind of imagine Fish Dog to be the beep boop that shows me to this massive poster. What does the actual poster look like underneath the writing?
I always imagine it as like a really big Art Nouveau style poster.
Same.
I don't know if you've seen the kinds of posters Alphonse Mucha did for Medea and things like that. It's something like that.
Could you say that in a more Australian possible accent for me? So I can look it up.
I will.
Andre?
Alphonse Mucha.
Alphonse?
Do you not know who that is?
Alphonse? This is one of those things where I might have read it and
You
not
absolutely know who that is.
Alphonse Mucha.
Mucha? Then yes.
But
Yeah.
it's pronounced Mucha.
Yeah.
Right, see, I have pronounced that wrong my whole life. So you see
Yep.
what I meant by say it like a, hey, Alphonse, matcha. Much ado about everything. No, yes, okay, cool. I was
Yeah.
I'm just looking at it. That's such a nice portrait. And defaced now. That's good.
Yeah. I don't know what the actual image is. It's probably like of the 4 suns and the like the 4 suns in sort of profile and the princess as the leading figure
Mm.
in the
Actually-
poster.
Fun fact, I've actually doodled something that is quite akin to this for while listening to songs that remind me of the Folly.
Oh, good.
But one of the images is actually like Lydia kind of fallen in front, but I imagine the posters to be a bit more like central princess,
Yeah.
quite pretty in the front.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so I think Fish Dog will
Also,
help me
the
remove that.
costume
Oh,
design of the princess is very Siren.
yeah, of course. That's confronting to stand in front of alone in an alleyway with my Fish Dog.
Yeah.
I've been avoiding this poster for months now.
Yep.
Now it's got big red paint on it.
Yep.
How high up is the paint going? All the way to the top?
Yep.
Stepping stools exist. Step ladders.
They're called step ladders, yeah.
There's
Are
they're
they
two
just-
different
Isn't it just a
implements.
regular ladder?
Thank you, man.
Not this shit again.
Not here, not now.
Okay. Okay. So the writing is applied very high up.
Mm-hmm. Across the entire thing.
Shit.
Like top to
Taller than
bottom.
me. Taller than wait, higher up than me because it's 150.
Maybe you know those posters outside the Capitol building that always like
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
basically
no, I
those.
know what it is.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like so I'm just confirming the painting is high up and thickly done. And how long did the storm go for last night?
It started probably around sunset and went until like 1 in the morning, probably.
My lord. All right.
It started drizzling, and then you had like a big downpour late at night.
So,
then
someone
it
had a very,
fade
very
off.
busy night.
Yeah.
Or someone's, I guess. Alrighty. I think Willow's going to. I imagine Fish Dog like zooping the corners of the poster so that it falls, and it's kind of like a
Mhm.
dramatic
Yeah.
blanket fall. And Willow's going to like quickly try and roll it up before
Mhm.
anyone catches them. Is anyone going to bother them on the way out? Do I have to make like a
Make a
run
stealth check.
Okay.
You have advantage because of your armor. So
Nice.
you are unbothered.
Good.
This
I
one was
slide that-
relatively out of the way, so
Nice. I slide that poster all the way into my pocket, nice and rolled up. And I, first of all, you reckon it's worthwhile going to Lori?
you can certainly try.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna, while I mull over that, I'm thinking of all the newspaper places as well. Can I do a intelligence check or whatever it is to see if I know where the papers are? The press?
Make another investigation check on the papers themselves, because there is usually a an address or like a mailing thing.
Okay.
Okay, so the Regalport Herald is their offices are located on the outskirts of the Wavecrest Quarter. The Panoply is located in one of the cheaper neighborhoods of the Pirate Exchange. And the Scuttlebutt is located in Herringbone Way.
Okay.
And Laurie's apothecary shop is way out in Forester's End.
So I can sort of drop that off first and then come back if that's what I'm doing.
If you want to, yeah.
I can take a cab.
You can take a cab.
How much are Lori services again?
A few silver.
Okay. Really watching
You
my
have
dollars
two-
these days.
you
I have 2
have
gold.
to- You have 2 gold. You have been spending money a bit recklessly.
Yeah.
Did Willow mention yesterday that they are broke?
They joked about it.
Okay, then I think Luca might have left 5 gold on the table for you with a little
They
note
would
that
not
says,
have
please
taken it."
use this.
Yeah.
Please use this.
I'm so sorry, they would
Well-
have just ignored it.
Can I once again
Yeah,
try to
I'm
sneak
afraid.
the 3 gold that is rightfully Willow's back into their pocket?
I think at this point you have other concerns.
Yeah, I'm preoccupied.
Please take
Okay.
Luca's money.
I think I'm
Well,
gonna just
too late. It's just sitting on the table in
Yeah.
your room.
Yeah, I'm just gonna skedaddle over to Laurie's. I think I'm gonna
Okay.
take a cab for that. And
Okay.
while in the cab, I'm going to like scrape off some of the things so he doesn't have to look at this big, horrible poster.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna like make the effort to scrape it off. Do I have to do a check for that? In the back of a moving
no.
cart?
Only if you're trying not to destroy the poster, I guess.
Yeah. We'll see how badly I injure the poster beneath. What do I do here?
Sleight of hand check, I'd say, with disadvantage because moving cab.
Can Fishdog balance that out for me?
Yeah, sure.
Not bad. Ish.
Yeah, it's a little bit scuffed, but it's still readable as a poster. You haven't torn it.
Yeah. I rolled a 1. I was expecting to just punch a hole right through it. Whoops.
Yeah.
But yeah. Cool. So I'm doing that on my way to Lori.
Okay. Hand over 8 copper.
Okay. Where's my sheet?
For the cab.
Sweet baby Jesus, let me do some math.
Should we move to another scene while you're
Yes.
doing that?
I think so, yes. So while Willow is spending their entire morning running clear across Regalport, who shall we pick up with? Willow is heading over to Laurie's with a sample of the paint on the posters, and is with Brina heading to the area near Warfred's apartment to go set up Peter.
Yes. And Luca's with Meraldine.
Yes.
Chilling with my girl.
We've come back from ad break. We can start at
Yeah.
any of these points.
Yes. So I guess pick.
Audrey.
Go ahead
Pick.
and pray.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I think give me a survival check with advantage or an investigation check with advantage, as Brina is helping you pick out which places are best to lay low in and observe the entrances to the apartment.
Nice.
Hey, nice.
Not bad.
So you are sort of doing a little mosey around the neighborhood, picking out a suitable set of rooftops or cafe or whatever that gives you at least a general line of sight to the apartment without being too close.
Yeah.
Marina lets Peter in pigeon form fly off and do a wander around, and us. You hold my arm for a sec while I go take a look.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Oh,
So
Audrey
you
will.
are leading a blinded and deafened Brina around by the arm as she views the world through the eyes of a pigeon.
Audrey's got her
That's mad.
arm hooked around Rena and just strolling around like they're just friends.
Mm-hmm.
Audrey keeping an eye out both for hazards for Brina and anything else, including
Mhm.
unwanted company.
Mm-hmm.
Because En's kind of on high alert after meeting with Jaylee.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Just have a weird feeling that maybe we're being more watched than we think we are. But when has that feeling
Okay.
ever gone away?
Mm-hmm.
Just more poignant now. Anyway, leading Brina, everything's fine. We're just casual.
Mm-hmm. Make a perception check, just straight. Keep an eye out, but nothing too suspicious around these parts, at least. About 10 minutes later, Brina comes back and says, "Okay, I think I found a good place.
Perfect.
Peter's all set up and entrenched.
All right.
Just a pigeon building a nest."
Yep, nothing to see here. So where does that leave us?
Now, we wait. Take turns keeping an eye.
Audrey nods.
I'm pretty good at that.
Oh, that's good. And, I guess when, Luca gets done, he'll also be in on the rotation.
Yes. I imagine he will also make for a good lookout. He's got that whole guard thing going on with him, so he's made a good lookout before.
Yeah, that's good. Here's hoping we don't end up with, same kind of runaround we had the first time we were setting up a perimeter.
Yes, I would like this to go a little bit differently than that one went. Let's hope for...
Well, this time we hopefully have a little more forewarning.
Yes, less, premature... exposure.
Well then. Guess
Audrey.
I'll take my turn first.
Yeah, Audrey holds up her fist like,
You want to play for it?
Audrey holds up a flat palm underneath, like rock, paper, scissors gesture.
Okay, then. How do we play rock, paper, scissors?
Do we want to just say it? I don't know.
Roll a d3. 1 is rock, 2 is paper, 3 is scissors.
Okay,
Sure.
let's do that.
I always forget how this works. Roll.
/roll space D3. So I've rolled scissors.
Scissors.
And again.
Aw.
Rock.
Rock versus
Scissors.
Scissors. So Brina
Ah.
Like I
can-
win.
You win. Can't beat your sharp eye.
Audrey puts up her hands in surrender.
Well, I'll make myself scarce, and when do you want me back?
Come back in about 3-4 hours.
All right, I'll be here. Have
Brina
fun.
waves you off and puts her hands in her pockets and moseys over to a cafe.
Nice. All right. Well, I've got some free time on my hands.
Anything you want to investigate or consider before we cut over to Willow?
We can cut over to Willow, but I mean, if I have the free time, I might go check out the newspaper places. As well, I
Okay.
have nothing else to do except
Which
walk in
one do you
circles.
want to go to? Which one is closest, actually?
Yeah, which
It's
one is
probably,
closest? I feel like.
It's probably the Regalport Herald.
Well, that one's closest, so I might as well poke my head in there.
I have. Oh,
I don't know if there would be enough time in those like 3 to 4 hours to hit all of them, since I imagine they might be spread out.
They are spread out. but-
Yeah. So.
we might end up crossing paths depending on what your thinking is.
Because
Because Willow's also planning to go there.
the Herald.
Funny if we both show up. No, not the Herald. I have a thought process behind.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, that one's closest, so I'll just go there, see what happens, and play it
Mhm.
by ear.
Okay.
You're best suited to go there. I was hoping you'd go there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, Audrey heads on over to the offices of the Regalport Herald, which is not that hard to find. It is the most established local newspaper with a proper office building. Like, the entire building is dedicated to the Herald itself. Located sort of on the outskirts of the Wavecrest Quarter, between the Wavecrest Quarter and the Pirate Exchange. You were just down in... Oh gosh, where is Warfred's apartment once again?
Where do you live, asshole? Wish you
I
wouldn't.
never remember.
It's in Rich Bitch area. I think Wavecrest Quarter.
Okay, well, in that case, you're not too far off. So, you find the offices of the Regalport Herald. It is a large building. There is a small foyer at the front with stairs leading up to the main offices where all the writing happens, and an elevator in the center, and you can sort of hear the hubbub and clank of the printing press on the ground floor.
Is there anywhere I can tuck myself to cast detect thoughts before I go into this establishment?
I'm sure there is. Make a stealth check.
All right.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Cool. Well, I'll just go ahead and get that in motion just because I feel like it might help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So, like, what's the vibe of this place? Is it like bustling? Does everyone seem to be busy with possible new information, or is it like chill?
Yeah,
relaxed?
it's pretty busy, I would say. It does like cover all news around the city and to some extent the principalities at large. It also gets in news from other places, but it is primarily focused around Regalport. It's like the Times is to New York, you know? That sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But a little more localized. I guess it would be I don't know enough about real world newspapers
That's fine.
to give accurate portrayal. Anyway, it is busy. Obviously there is the news of the day, but there's also different things going on. There's reporting on what ships are going in and out, world news, that sort of thing. Upcoming events. There's a lot going on. Regalport is a big city and there's a lot of people in it.
All right. Well, is there anyone like front desk material or someone that seems approachable?
Yeah, there's definitely a front desk where you can talk to a secretary or something.
All right. Well, I'll mosey on over there, I
Receptionist.
suppose.
Yep.
Great.
Ask how they can help you. What are you looking for? We don't have to roleplay this out.
Yeah. I feel like Hurry's first inclination is going to be basically to ask, like,
If I had a scoop, who would I talk to hand it off to?
Depends on what it's pertaining to. There's different columnists for different subjects. Is it to do with world events, financial events, trade, culture, whatever? So it depends on the department, I guess.
Yeah, would theater, Thrani, all of that fall under like culture?
Yes,
Yeah, then
probably.
that then.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I didn't make up a name for this one.
Which kind of news?
There's
Breaking.
There's also the editor-in-chief is sort of the one that you'd go to for everything. He's the head guy who
Well, if they're available,
determines.
if he's available.
Make a persuasion check. Also, what credentials are you providing? Is it just a general? Because you know that, like, flashing the Madani qualification will get you in the door easier.
Yeah, so I'm probably going to utilize that, especially here.
Okay. Yeah, make a persuasion check with advantage.
Cool.
Yeah, just little old me with someone. I'm just working with someone. I'm sure you haven't heard of them, but... Just have a couple questions.
Yeah. If you would like to ask about the breaking news, then yes, you can have a few minutes with the editor-in-chief, Garamond Copperplate.
Nice.
I'm sure you're very busy and I won't take too much of your time.
Yeah. You head up to the main office and past to the editor-in-chief's office, where you meet a gnomish man of about 300 years of age with streaky white, gray, wispy hair and a long, sharp nose, a finely coiffed mustache and goatee, named Garamond Copperplate. Hello, yes, you're the person
Detective.
working with the... Oh, detective, yes, what may I call you?
You can call me Audrey. It's nice to meet you, Mr. Copperplate.
Nice to meet you too, nice to meet you too.
And Audrey will give
how
a
can I
like,
help you?
friendly handshake.
Well, the cat's out of the bag now, so no reason to beat around the bush. We are obviously investigating this case.
And Audrey like has one of the papers now and will show it off. The front page news.
Yes. Yes, well, what with the, vandalism overnight, there was no real point in pretending that there wasn't a story here. We've tried to keep it as moderate and factual as possible, obviously.
Of course.
We have avoided publishing the exact details of Mr. Allen's death at the request of Captain Frostroot. We have sent her another message asking for a proper interview. And obviously with Detective Madani as well. But the Herald has a duty to report the goings-on of Regalport so that the public may be informed.
Of course, of course. So, you were privy to some of these details before the, public display?
Yes, we had reported on the attack that had happened at the auction hall.
Yes, yes. And this new information, was that specifically because of what occurred at the Galleria?
Yes, this new information is more to do with the vandalism and the accusation lobbied at House Thorani.
Right. So no other information has been trickling down from other sources. It's strictly the vandalism that you're reporting on?
As far as I know, yes, but there may be other writers who have done some of their own investigation into it as well. Of course, that's the spirit of journalism. But as the editor-in-chief, I have the final say-so on what actually gets printed, of course.
Naturally, naturally. Do you have any journalists that are specifically looking into this case right now that I could, rather, possibly have a conversation with?
I've asked to put a halt on that sort of thing for now, but we have some files on hand if you would like to peruse them.
Oh, that would be lovely. If I
Yes,
may.
let me just, I'll get those sorted for you. He, does a call over and a sort of another gnomish runner, comes up and drops off the file, and he says, here's everything we've collected so far. In terms of official things, obviously it is, we are waiting on approval for publishing of more specific details.
Of course.
Audrey will accept those and start flipping through them.
Yeah. It's a lot of stuff that you already know.
Yeah.
And also specific reporting from Bria and a specific statement from Captain Frostroot asking that as the executor of Tarek Elhab's estate, there be no additional reporting on the circumstances of his death, other than that he died during the attack.
Cool, cool.
There's reports of Emerald Claw extremists being possibly behind the zombie attack after that came out. What with the wanted posters of Vaelia going up around town.
Right.
She is now a fugitive in Regalport.
Mm-hmm.
What else are you looking for?
Yeah, Audrey's just mainly looking for like sources of information that the newspaper might have been, using to facilitate their articles. If there's anything that is outside of what Audrey is already familiar with in terms of sources or places that they're looking to investigate or scoops.
I think it all seems pretty above board here.
Yeah. Audrey might ask.
Obviously, there are like some sources that they have not published, but it's like somebody who was in attendance at the theater, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. And
or those who were in attendance at the auction.
yeah, so but that's just like various names, doesn't seem specifically targeted. Like this one person came forward and told us everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Audrey might ask while she's here though.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
What do you mean?
Oh, the vandalism, the targeting of Tharani. Has that happened before in Regalport?
No, I would say not.
I know they've been
I
here
mean,
for a while.
obviously there have been vandalisms of various things before, but not really Tharani. Then again, they're pretty new around here, only 30 years.
That's longer than I've been alive, but I know you're living by a different clock, my man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Audrey just nods at that.
Unprecedented then.
Not to this extent, at least.
There've been smaller incidents.
Yes, certainly there's been... Vandalism is not that uncommon around the principalities. I mean, pirates have a way of making things known.
Oh, indeed.
But usually it's, this kind of drama is localized to individuals. This is the first time anybody's really targeted House Tharani here. I mean, there are historical cases, of course, of people taking umbrage with the dragon-marked houses before, but usually that goes away pretty quickly.
Do you think this one's gonna stick?
I don't know. We'll see if it's a flash in the pan or not.
I suppose we will.
At the moment, at least, it's a pretty bright flash. We'll see if it has the staying power. I'm sure Tharani has their own investigation going into that.
Oh, I'm sure. I bet they aren't taking this lightly.
Well, if that's everything, Miss Audrey, I have other things to attend to.
Of course. You've been very helpful, Mr. Copperplate. Thank you for your time.
Have a lovely day.
You as well.
You leave the Herald
Yeah. I want to go somewhere
bustling as ever.
dirtier.
Well, in the meantime, I think it is about time we cut back to Luca and Meraldine.
Me.
So, you have been keeping yourself busy, occasionally attending to Captain Frostroot's needs by offering her tea or water, burning the letters in the fireplace as she does her book work.
If I may ask, Captain,
Ask away then.
What does a captain do?
She looks up at you with a little of like, are you really asking that? Do you really not know? Or are you looking for a topic of conversation?
He really doesn't seem to know.
The captain of a ship usually determines the course, the stock, and does general management of the crew. Obviously, I have other crew members who delegate with the specifics, but I am the leader.
Right. And how does that work with you being, staying in port?
Currently, we are tasked with the naval protection of the Crown Bay and Regal Port in general.
Oh.
So, my duty is to see to munitions, weapons upkeep, payment for various crew, stuff, etc.
Of course. Well, thank you for your protection.
With any luck, though, I'll be back to running trade soon enough.
What sort of things do the sea dragons trade?
Well, I'm sure you've heard that Regalport and Greentarn at large is known for some of the finest oak wood and shipbuilding. We also run trade between various ports along the southern and western coasts. Sorry, eastern coasts. That was a DM flub. Even Lyrander has tough competing with us.
Luca smiles at that, like, ooh, aren't you guys special? Do you have the sea dragons had much interaction with the, what do they call themselves? The Luca like makes a shuffling hand. The pirates that are of the blood of Vol.
Oh, the blood sails, no. They tend to keep to the north. They are more concerned with their immediate neighbors in Karnath and Orthos and all that.
And you're not allied with the dire sharks.
No, they are, in fact, our primary rivals.
Luca seems to be taking notes about this, just so he can know these things. Right. Are you allied with anyone?
Oh yes, I'm sure we are. But that is more Ryger's ballpark than my own. I am primarily focused on doing business and keeping the books of the Sea Dragons well within the black.
And black is good.
Yes, as opposed to red.
Ah, right. Well, thank you for explaining. I'm not very versed on piracy.
Well, we have to make our money somehow, and robbing people isn't always the most expedient way of doing that.
I would wager it is often not.
Oh, it
Because-
depends.
Well, it comes with risks, so...
Everything comes with risks. That's how you know it's worth doing. But certainly now that there is a peace treaty, we are getting paid less to rob other people.
But that comes with less risk, so... That's a good
Perhaps less mortal risk, but The rewards are lesser as well.
Hmm. Do you miss being Luca makes a swishing with his pen, like a swashbuckling kind of criminal pirate.
That was never my deal.
Oh. Do you mind me asking what you did before you were a pirate? Captain, sorry?
I was a merchant.
Oh. So more of the same, but with a more prestigious flag to fly under.
Indeed, now I get to choose my own trade routes, my own cargo, and I can buy and sell more.
Good life.
It is, and one I've worked for quite hard.
I can imagine. If you don't mind my asking, how did you come to be captain of the Silver Dancer?
I won it in a wager.
Luca's head tips like, what? Is that normal procedure?
That's one of the ways that ships pass hands.
Oh. Huh.
Geraldine goes back to her writing.
Boof. Boof. Can you hear the dog? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
I think Luca shuffles his own papers a bit and writes some more notes, and then says, I can't believe how disrespectful the papers have been.
Yes, this is exactly the sort of mess that I wanted to avoid, but it seems that has been taken out of my hands.
Should I make an insight check on that?
If you want to.
Maybe.
You're whispering a bit.
Sorry, I'm far away from the microphone. I still don't know where this new microphone is best placed. How's she feeling?
Oh my lord!
Wow, Luca.
You can tell by the way she is clacking her nails against the desk and holding her pen just a little too tight. She is aggravated and antsy. She wants to be able to act, but she is forcing herself to stay calm, focus on her work.
Big is this room?
It's like living room sized-ish.
Okay.
A little bit smaller, maybe.
You're a pirate, Luca says, intentionally, stupidly.
What's on your mind?
Can you use a sword?
Yes.
Luca looks pointedly at the one beside her. Maybe. Would you like to spar for a bit?
She puts down her pen and looks at you.
Sometimes when I'm frustrated, it helps. I thought maybe you could take your frustrations out on me instead of people who might go into report on it later.
She quirks an eyebrow. Make a persuasion check. You know what? Yes.
Yeah.
She picks up her sword, puts down her pen, slams the book shut.
Oh, good.
Her ledger.
I think Luca might move a few things out of the way.
Says,
Oh?
there's a better place to go spar.
Luca
Follow
stands
me.
to attention and follows.
Okay. We're not going to role play out the fight with actual attack rolls because that will take a bit too long.
Yeah.
So just make an athletics check.
Oh.
Damn.
No.
I think Luca will let her like take control of the fight, but
Oh,
just make
yes.
sure that he doesn't get hurt, basically.
Yes. You provide yourself as an excellent fencing dummy.
Yes.
Emphasis on dummy.
More ways than one. Yeah. Where are you guys fighting? Like, where is this taking place?
I think
Yeah.
there is, in fact, because the whole of the Port Authority is basically an old fort that has been converted into a government building, there is actually places. It is also the headquarters of the town guard and the Blade Marks Guild, because remember you came here to get your monster hunting thing. There are courtyards specifically designed for weapons practice.
Oh. Oh my god, people might watch us.
I think the guard have a sense of deference enough for the sea dragons to be maybe not.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And especially with the sort of, if you look at me wrong, I will probably cut off part of your clothing, if not worse, that Meraldine is exuding. You are relatively undisturbed.
Yeah.
But
I gotta
you do
ask.
give Meraldine a good workout.
I gotta ask. Does she take off her coat and hat? Like, does she hang up the coat when she's fighting, or does she keep it? What's?
I think she keeps the coat on.
Ooh. But her hat's off. And her beautiful hair is everywhere.
I feel like the hat has to stay on if the coat's on. It's like a set.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's both. Both stay on.
Oh
She
my
fights in full dress. But I think she takes her coat off after the fight a little bit to breathe.
Luca will obviously fetch her some water and a towel to wipe her brow. She needs it.
Well, you certainly have the stamina, don't you?
That's mostly all I have.
Better a master of one than a jack of none.
Luca wiggles his finger exactly. I can see why you're a captain though. Certainly kept me off on my toes.
Well, I think I'm about done here for the day. I suppose
Luca
I'll
nods.
head back to my ship for some lunch.
Luca physically sticks to her side like he's going to escort her to her ship.
She does not mind this.
Oh.
She, in fact, seems to expect your escort.
Oh, well then.
And she says, if anybody with a notepad approaches too closely, just give them the boot.
Yes, ma'am. How is she seeming? Does she seem any less aggressive? Angry?
She's certainly worked off some of the restless energy.
Good.
But there's still a sort of agitation to her. But it's sort of a little bit sated for now.
For now. Good.
As you head out into the street, there is a man who approaches, not with a notepad, but with a bouquet of flowers. Warfred Bartosz appears.
Oh my god, I'm sweating. I'm sweating.
I'm pacing.
Luca's hand is on his sword. as it should be.
Ah, Captain Frostroot, I was told that I could perhaps find you here. I am so sorry very much for your loss and for the sudden scrutiny upon you. I mean, how could these horrid vultures descend upon you at this time of grief? You are too taken aback.
Yep. Okay. I'm calm. Cool. My bodyguard.
To do this, and Bartosz has appeared in such a way as like he has sort of blocked Meraldine off from being able to approach a cab.
Mm.
It's one of those, like, you know when somebody traps you in a small talk encounter?
Yeah.
Meraldine is wearing a polite smile as Mr. Bartosz goes on. I know that you must have been so overcome with mourning. I didn't see you at the memorial the other day. I am sure you have been too busy to make public appearances, but it's so crass. How could anyone think that you had a hand in it? I mean, there was no evidence of you conspiring against Tarek, was there? At this overt implication, Meraldine sort of, there's something in her that you detect shattering in that moment, and she says, well, we'll simply have to ask Tarek himself when he comes back. And Warfred goes, you see, currently he is awaiting resurrection. I'm sure this will all blow over soon enough. Have a good day. Thank you for your condolences. And Meraldine basically clicks her fingers for you to follow her into the cab.
Yes. Please do.
Make another insight check.
Please, yes, thank you. Okay, that's a little better.
19.
Nice.
Who are you looking at?
Oh my god. Do I need to make another one if I want to look at the other one?
I just want to know who you're looking at first.
Well, I want to see what Warfred was like when Meraldine said Tarek is going to be resurrected, and then check on Meraldine at being assaulted by Warfred's presence.
Warfred looks gobsmacked, shocked.
Uh-huh.
This is news to him.
Yeah.
Yes, you shit's about to get rocks, little man.
You're gonna get fucked, little man.
Yes. Feels so good. Can I just cut in real quick? You know the one question I didn't get to ask him thrice during all of our interactions? I have been waiting to drop that on him for ages. I love that Meraldine.
She deserves it. She deserves it after the day she's had. Good for her.
That's perfect. Oh, I was so gutted that he wiped my memory before I could ask him. Oh my god. Yeah! Carry on. This could be very dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it could.
Yeah. It's bad.
So
It's
bad.
bad, but let's keep going.
Yes. Let's ride the wave.
Mm-hmm. And then Meraldine looks like this interaction was the straw that broke the proverbial camel's back, and she has taken some satisfaction in seeing Warfred's dismay.
Valid. So valid, queen.
It was a fun riposte for her. She gets into the cab and then sighs angrily. An outrageous day I've had.
If you can spare the resources, might I suggest someone you trust at Tarek's bedside?
I've already got that handled.
Luca nods. Can captains take the afternoon off?
You don't need to worry about me, darling. Why don't I drop you off near the detective's office?
No, I'll take you.
Well then.
I would feel safer knowing you weren't swarmed by paparazzi at your ship.
Very well then.
Is there anything else I should ask her?
I think you're good. I think we can
Yeah.
move on here to
Let her
let her
relax a
Quick.
bit.
breathe.
You guys didn't take the bouquet, did you?
We did
No.
not.
Nope.
No.
So Warfred is standing there like a dumb shit on the side of the street with a
Good.
bouquet, and his shit
As
rides
he
in his
ought to.
shock. That is
Yes.
whereas the cart like goes past him and just leaves him standing there gobsmacked with the flowers that weren't received. Oh my god. Oh no. Mirathenia's so good for that. She literally used him as like the stepladder to get into her carriage. That's what it felt
Good.
like.
As
She
she
just stood
should.
directly on his nose, swung her leg over and into the carriage, and clicked for Luca. Like,
Damn.
like, ow.
Right?
Anyway. Yeah. Okay.
I'm living my
so,
best life right now.
Yeah. So which newspaper was Willow going to investigate?
I was gonna say, I feel like we might
Okay,
end up.
God, are
crossing
we closing
paths.
out that scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Unless you
I
had
think we
like,
might.
Yeah.
We might transition to another cart from where you guys are.
They cross
So-
each other on the road.
Oh yeah, that's a nice scene. Animated series win. I'm kind of willing to just skip through the Laurie thing. Willow's dropped off the stuff
Yeah.
to Laurie.
Mhm.
As Willow, by the way, they briefly popped in
Mhm.
dressed as themselves, hoping to expedite the process. How much is that?
Mhm.
Came out right?
Like a silver.
1 silver. Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't it 3 silver? Don't listen to me though. I swear it was more silver than 1 silver. But
I think Laurie is like, because I think Willow is just asking, is this the same as the one before? That's easier
Okay.
to determine than what is this at all?
yeah,
Mhm.
right, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. At the same time, though, Willow would be willing for more information about it, just to know. So it's not like they will. If,
'Cause if it
any
is a
any more
different
information
paint.
is good. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like while you're there, could you figure out what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if that ends up being 3, that's fine. But for now, I've paid 1.
I don't.
And then I
remember,
think,
so-
yeah, it's okay. Laurie gives me mates rates. We're friends, ish.
Mhm.
Okay. While in the cart, so Willow's logic. Can I do some checks first to just think about what we've seen thus far?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Were you about to say something wrong?
I also wanted N to do some checks to figure out which newspaper place they're gonna go to, but we can do that later, I guess.
You can do it now if you want. What checks do you mean?
Oh, just I was gonna ask Zeke in my infinite knowledge as being familiar with newspapers and whatnot if I would know which one of the 2 remaining ones might be more fruitful to investigate.
Well, the Panoply article mentioned having a hot tip.
Yeah, that's where my eye is going, and I'm less likely to murder someone at the Monopoly than the Scuttlebutt, so that's
I can explain to you my reason for meta purposes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Sure.
going to the least, what's the word I'm
reputable
looking for?
place.
Reputable place, where they seem like they would care the least about my integrity as well as their own.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So and I'm also thinking like you guys will check out the places where your detectives work can get you in there quicker. So you
Yeah.
guys will cover the Herald, and you'll probably cover the panoply because that is still not, bottom of the barrel.
Cool.
Whereas you will need someone who is on the flip side of this case to do the sort of dirty shuffling through the yuck. And it's also more like, you're good at lying, but I'm bad at lying, so I would do fare worse in the panoply. I walk in, I incriminate myself, I'm accused of murder, I'm arrested before afternoon. It's not... Scuttlebutt might be a bit more up my alley. So that's Willow's logic as they are in the cart.
Cool.
However, we'll come back to that. Are you finished asking your bits?
Yeah, I think that just confirmed what I was already leaning towards in my brain. So cool. I'm out.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna do some little checks on what I'm thinking. I would like to check, how would somebody, say if they were quite shorter than me, how would they have painted all of these things in an evening? Logistically and also, magically.
Make an Arcana check.
Okay.
So, there are a couple spells that would be very useful. There is the cantrip Mage Hand, which allows you to summon a small telekinetic hand that can reach up to 30 feet away from you, hold an object weighing no more than 5 pounds, I believe. So, very easy, very commonly used, especially in doing things in hard-to-reach places. There is also means of levitation and the spell Unseen Servant, which is most commonly used in the line of House Galanda's Hotelier things, which is a sort of small, invisible-ish shape of magic that can do common household tasks like cleaning, painting, that sort of thing.
First one's a cantrip, the other two are likely...
Those are spells. Levitate, the spell itself, is 2nd level, and Unseen Servant is 1st level. So well within the reach of somebody who has moderate magical education.
Right.
Like a tradie will have those spells, or like have access to that level of magic.
Yeah. Okay. Can Mage Hand, so like that can be done as many times as it needs to because it's a cantrip.
Yep.
Are these the kinds of things where you have to like observe them in order for them to keep happening, or can you like let one go and then go somewhere else and then let another one go, and then like what's the logistics of that? Do you have to like stand and observe a Mage Hand?
You control the Mage Hand as if it was your own hand. It just has a better reach.
So you gotta be there. Gotcha.
But Unseen Servant you can summon and let go, and it'll last for about an hour.
So you can bring one to help you?
Yep.
Can the Unseen Servant use Mage Hand? Or can it take on any shape?
It's a medium-sized sort of... It occupies a medium-sized space.
Okay. I think, also I was going to ask, with that in mind, how long do I expect that this would have taken last night? Like, what do I do to check that?
A few hours.
Okay. A few hours even with this magical assistance? With one person, presumably?
Yes. It would take one person with magical assistance a few hours to do this. But it's again one of those things that's like... And that's because it's so widespread.
Yeah. So the person themselves will still have to be out, and servants would be able to... Okay. That's good information to have. I think Will is thinking this too while, like, they've asked the cart to go back to Herringbone Way so that they can visit the Scuttlebutt. And while in the cart, they are thinking, like, they emerged from Laurie's place, the poison the botanist's place.
Mhm.
Who checks poison, by the way, in case anyone's forgotten. That's Laurie, who initially did the tests for my vermilion
Mhm.
paint sample, my lacquer sample.
Mhm.
I think Willow's like halfway back into dressing into their mask when they kind of realize that their little plan for the scuttlebutt might not benefit from seeing Gil there,
Mhm.
and they haven't equipped Disguise Self.
Mhm.
So I think they are going to take a pause for a moment, and then like they're gonna chuck on their coat again. Oh no, sorry, maybe their like usual Regalport outfit, the blue
Mhm.
shirt, the hat, which they all keep in their
Mhm.
party pockets, with of
Mhm.
course just a difference of they're wearing black pants this time.
Mhm. Willow and your many, many outfit changes.
Yeah, they're doing this in the back of the cart, which I need
Aw.
to pay for again. I forgot. Huh?
Yep.
I just feel a
Um,
kinship with you changing your clothes in the back of a cart.
It's like in the
aw.
Princess Diaries. You're my princess.
Yeah, I guess
Sure.
Willow's looking at their boots too. Like they remember like conversations about typical detective work and like tracking your boots and stuff. But Willow's like, well, the main detective in town is already on my like, already knows me, and the other people in town have more reasons to trace me than my shoes. So I'm probably fine to just keep my shoes on. Willow's like
Mhm.
mass memeing this whole time on this cart, heading over.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I will be heading over to Herringbone Way. And
Mhm.
when I emerge from the cart, it's Willow.
Mhm. Hand over another hand over a silver for the cab. 10
Oh, yeah,
copper.
boy.
You went clear across town. Hi, Cognaut.
Yeah, I did because 7 is my. I have 7 silver. That's what happened. 7 is my voice activator.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Yeah, Willow hopping out the cart and like fixing their hat on over their ears. They tuck their ears into the hat a bit more this time.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of out of habit.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. Their shifted nose and facial features are very much out.
Yeah.
But you know, they're still keeping their hat low and their vibes, you know, low key.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to continue with this or to skip back to Audrey, who is also like having the tangential cart ride thing.
Yeah. Gonna approach the Panoply in the meanwhile. And I'll go ahead and assume that nothing came out in the wash of my detect thoughts at the Regalport Herald. Like,
No.
nothing really popped up.
Nothing overly suspicious.
Yeah, just pretty casual, what you would expect.
Yeah.
Thoughts. Because I'll probably cast it again, because I feel like the ride in the cart, I have downtime, so I'm not worried about... I'm gonna recharge before the stakeout is the logic here. So I'll probably cast again before I head into the Monopoly.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool. All right. Unlike the Herald, which has a full building to themselves, the Panoply office is a single floor of an apartment building in one of the relatively cheaper neighborhoods of the Pirate Exchange. There's no dedicated printing press. You enter in, and with this one, you do actually have the name of the journalist in particular who did the reporting on this article.
Cool.
So you can ask to
See them specifically.
see them, yes.
Yeah, I will do that then. Probably continuing to wave around my Donnie badge, so to speak.
Yep.
What's the
as
vibe
you
here?
arrive,
Yeah.
it's a little more subdued. It's not as hustly and bustly as the Herald is.
Artsy.
It's more artsy, a little more relaxed. Though as you come in, you do spot somewhat heated discussion going on between an elven woman with clay brown skin and straight black hair, many golden earrings, and a dwarven woman with light tan skin and dark gold hair worn in like a Gibson girl wavy updo.
Can I listen in on that?
Yes.
Both externally and internally?
Well, externally first, and
Yes,
then
one step at a time.
pick your target.
Yeah.
The elven woman is clearly the superior here in terms of profession, who is saying that she's basically saying that you submitted a different version to the one I approved of to printing. Why did you do this? This is a gross oversight. And it's like, we're just lucky that the other papers have reported on the same thing so that the main heat is not on us for overdoing it in terms of tone. The dwarf woman, who happens to be the journalist, Olivetti Harrods, is deferential to her boss, but stands her ground a bit, saying that she felt that this was more attention grabbing and could bring the publication a greater readership by actually reporting on discourse in the art world instead of simply providing advertising for events. The editor-in-chief sort of sighs and says, well, it's too late to do anything about it now. But she warns Harrods that should Thorani have complaints, she is going to be the one to bear the burden of blame.
How does our dwarf friend feel about that?
A little bit exasperated, but she knew what she was getting into. She knows that Dido, the editor-in-chief, is mostly making noise, and that if no complaints happen, then she'll be fine.
Right.
So yeah.
And what's her thoughts like? Because I think I'm focusing on the... I can't remember her name. What's the name of the journalist?
Olivetti Harrods.
Olivetti Harrods. Okay. I think I'm going to focus in on her and see what she's thinking. In regards to all of this.
Yeah. She feels that the editor is overreacting a bit. To the article. It's like, look, she's like, I stand by my words.
All right. Can I slide over?
Give me an insight check.
Okay.
There is a slight discrepancy in what Harrods is thinking she said and what you read in the paper.
Oh yeah? Where does that lie?
The wording in the paper is much more accusatory than what Harrods believes she has said.
Isn't that interesting? Can I do a quick drive-by check on the thoughts of her boss? But I am gonna start moving towards Miss Heretti.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna
Harrods.
Harrods. I cannot remember this name.
Heretti's very
Sorry.
cute though.
Harrods.
Olivetti Harrods.
All I can think of is
Yes.
Harriet. Harrods.
Spaghetti Harrods. Spaghetti and carrots.
I'm just gonna do a drive-by read of her boss as I am moving towards.
Yeah, the boss
Harrods.
is like peeved and annoyed and is like, but Harrods is one of her most consistent and longest standing writers, and she's just like, I hope I don't have to put out a fire over this. I don't want to have to let her go because of this nonsense
Cool.
sort of thing.
All right. Well, I think I will slide my attention, magical and otherwise, back to Miss Harrods, and make my approach.
Miss Harrods, might I have a moment of your time?
Hello. How can I help you?
Good afternoon. I'm with the Warding Guild. I was wondering if I could ask you a couple questions regarding, well, I'm sure you don't need me to tell you.
Oh, yes, of course. Please, let us go here. There is an interviewing room that we can make use of, the lounge.
Perfect. Lead the way.
Can I get you anything to drink? Tea or coffee?
Oh, tea would be lovely.
And Miss Harrods makes a pot of tea and provides a tray for the two of you to have while you sit across from each other in the lounge in two armchairs.
Awesome. All right. I think Audrey's brought a copy of the paper with her to reference. Yeah, so she'll bring that out.
Quite an eye-catching article, I must say. You wrote it?
Yes, I did. That is my name on the subheading.
Unless there is another Miss Harrods here.
I am the only one.
All right. Well, I must say I'm quite fascinated by this hot tip you mentioned.
Yes, I imagine so, but my journalistic integrity does require me to keep my anonymous sources anonymous.
Of course. Just... Well, it's quite an angle to take. It seems very different from the ways you usually portray news in your paper. I'm just wondering what lit a fire under you to be so passionate about this angle in particular.
Well, I figured that as patrons of the arts, our readership should be informed about the current ongoings in the world. I mean, we live in an age where it is post-war, but that does not mean that we are free from politics. I would say now more than ever, it is important to be well aware of what is going on.
Yes, well aware indeed. That also means we don't want to just spread hearsay, so I imagine you're very confident with whatever source came down your way.
What's she thinking?
I think she's being pretty consistent with herself. But in terms of what she's thinking, she received this tip by letter rather than in person. It was addressed to her specifically. It was signed as somebody who was reporting on the events of the night of the auction. And she did do some follow-up research to verify certain things for herself.
Mm-hmm. Did she say anything in response to Audrey suggesting that she must be very confident in her sources?
I am. I have held myself to a high standard, you will find.
Oh, I'm sure. How long have you been working for the Monopoly?
I would say approximately 14 years.
Wow. You must be pretty familiar with the art scene around Regalport then.
Yes, though it is flourishing much more in the last, I would say, 4 years than it has previously.
Well, that's good news, especially for you.
Indeed. Which is why I felt that it was prudent to take a more active role in the reporting, rather than simply providing lip service.
Yes, active indeed. You're turning over a new leaf, I think. Do you see a lot of, the same faces around in terms of the art scene? A lot of the same people, Tharani, or does it move quite a bit?
There is some movement. There has been more movement recently, what with travel being a little bit easier now that the conflict has cooled.
Yes.
More opportunity for artists from elsewhere among the principalities and Corvair and the rest of the world to make their work known around here. Obviously, Thorani is the biggest name with the biggest backing, so anyone must know what was going on with Thorani's latest work.
Naturally. Had you heard anything about the big news before, well, obviously your sources had confirmation land upon your door?
I had heard some, and I was curious about it, but I myself was not in attendance on the night of the auction. That was not my purview. I reported on the auction itself leading up to the event. I was expecting to go when it was open to the public, but... well,
That's a shame. I would have loved to read your article on the whole event if it hadn't been, unceremoniously, curtain called.
indeed, it was a most unfortunate interruption.
Were there any
And-
artists there you were specifically looking forward to seeing the work of?
She lists off a few well-known artists. Mostly painters who were established in Regalport, so the person who painted the Legend of Lazar and that sort of thing. The name you're waiting for does not come up.
Yeah.
Does the name Kelson ring a bell to you at all?
No.
Curious.
Audrey's writing things down.
Should I know who that is?
Maybe. Well, anyway.
Flips over the page on her notebook.
Has anyone else come by to, well, bother you about this whole scoop?
You are the first one.
Oh, wow. I'm honored. Imagine a lot of people would be interested in this kind of news.
Yes, I imagine so.
Is it everything you hoped for?
Well, we'll have to wait and see what comes out in the wash.
Well, you should be very careful with your wording going forward. You wouldn't want anything unintentional to slip through.
What are you implying?
Oh, I'm just saying. It would be a shame if something in the news was tampered with.
Audrey's gonna stand up.
She sort of furrows her brow.
Just, have you noticed anything odd lately? With your coworkers or anything that's gotten out that shouldn't have? It's a very delicate time.
No, but it is unusual, now that you mention it, that the vandalism should happen the night before publishing.
Well, what do you find so unusual about it?
It just is an uncanny coincidence. But it's probably just coincidence. There was only so much that the powers that be could conceal before it came to light.
So this article was written before any of the vandalism happened. When
Yes.
exactly did you receive this tip, Miss Hertz?
I would say 4 or 5 days ago is when I began writing.
And there's no way your sources might have known when the publishing would have occurred, or...
Audrey taps her pen on her lip.
Well, the Panoply does publish on a weekly schedule.
But was there any
So-
guarantee that this little tip would... Did you assure them that it would be published in this round?
I wouldn't say assure, but there was a little bit of back and forth correspondence.
Ah, trusted friend then.
No, I believe they were using a pseudonym.
Audrey nods, writes that down.
You're not suggesting that my source is the one responsible for the vandalism, are you?
That's an interesting theory. I'm just curious what fell through the cracks. It feels like something did. You're sure nothing else just seems off about all of this? Nothing at all?
Not that I can think of.
And she's thoughts are honest about that.
Yep. I think you're coming to the end of your
Yeah, probably.
detect thoughts.
Interesting. And you haven't received any peculiar visitors within those 5 days that, I don't know, might have listened in on something they perhaps ought not?
No. You can see now that your leading questions are making her a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
Well, it's a very odd situation, I'm sure you can agree.
Yes.
Audrey snaps her book shut.
Well, I'm sure it's nothing you have to worry about. That's what we're for. Us Madanis.
Does a little salute with a pen.
Yes, well, I hope this has been of assistance.
Certainly. Thank you for your time.
I'll finish my tea. Is there anything else I should ask on my way out that anyone can think of?
If you want to, you notice that there is no printing press here in the building.
Yeah. All right.
So it's clearly not a direct thing.
Yeah. So, does anyone else want to put a thing in the hat before I pull a Brina?
I had another thing.
Yeah.
My only thought is like pointing. I'm sure she's going to reread her work after and see discrepancies herself because you've already like planted paranoia in her mind. Good on you.
That's
So
what I'm
maybe
here
you don't
for.
need to do that too directly. Like maybe you don't need to be like, have you reread your work? Does that sound like you? I think you've already kind of led her into that. Yeah, so up to you. That's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, why not? Audrey will stand up like she's about to leave and then turn on her heel.
Oh, one more curiosity. Where
Yes.
are the newspapers printed? I noticed there's no press here in the building.
Oh no, we commission another press who does several other magazines.
Might I
I
get the address?
Yes, I believe they are located in Cooper's Row. She can give you the address of the printing press.
Great. Perfect.
Yep.
All right. Oh, I'll take that. And I guess I should make my leave. Or unless I can grab the elf lady's ear. But I feel like she might have already scuttled away to do work.
She's just anxiously sitting by her phone waiting for Ela to ring her up and be like, "I'm going to
I'm
murder
sending
you."
assassins to
Impressive, considering that telephones have not been invented yet.
Or
Spite
Omar
invented them.
invents the telephone just
He
to threaten her.
materializes them.
A courier drops off the newly invented telephone that Eli just got, and then it rings.
I would absolutely do that. Like, send someone
I will-
a pink telephone with me ready to ring it,
Yep.
and then threaten them.
That's you, Sarah, not Luca.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I'm assuming.
Luca doesn't threaten people. Luca's nice.
Please, Luca, that's your job.
Soft boy, I'm not intimidating at all.
Is there anything
Okay.
to be gleaned from this elf lady, or
And yeah, can I
No,
get to
no,
her?
not
She's
that.
gone.
You can get to her. I'm just going to say, like, metatextually, you got everything that you would have gotten because you overheard
Gotcha.
Yeah.
what she was saying in her brain.
Because you can read minds.
Yeah. It helps.
Detect thoughts sure expedites the interviewing process.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm trying to think. I don't know if I can pull a Willow, probably not Arcana check of like, is there any way you could influence someone through a letter?
I was thinking that, so if you can think of that. Looks like-
I think this is more, give me an intelligence check with advantage because this is drawing on your background as a spy.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the hell?
So you can just say that out loud now.
We're just saying.
Wow! Oh, shit! Okay, I have
Yes!
a brain blast as I step
yes, yes.
outside.
So
That's what happens when
here's
you
the
unlock
thing.
fail.
So here's the thing. If you wanted to manipulate somebody's words, and you clearly know that the way this process works is they send the article to the printing press to be printed, why bother interfering with somebody's mind when all you need to do is interfere with a piece of paper? It's so much easier to just get a copy of the article and intercept that and do slight tweaks to that and send it on to the printing press than it is to make somebody else write other words.
So true. Would there be any way I can like follow that trail, or is it just like if I go to the printing press, would I be able to get any more information on that, or is it like if it's been intercepted, that's going to be difficult to trace?
I mean, it's the thing is, like, the way this magazine works, you did a little bit of asking questions, I think, around like other one of the things you could do is like ask questions at the printing press, and I think this is the thing that we see you do in montage, which is the where that nat 20 comes in, is like asking at the printing press like how exactly this works. And it's like they receive the various like draft articles from the various magazines that they print for, because this is like a printing agency. They do it for publications that don't like print daily, unlike the Herald, which prints daily basically.
Mm-hmm.
They collate all the things over like a day or two, print them out, and then like ship them out. So they receive a copy in like a bundle.
Right.
Then it's the typesetting and all that. So it would, in your opinion, be easy because they get this sent in a bundle, and like this is not a high security building. If somebody knew where to look, where to make the edits, they could easily swap out one leaf of this like script to be printed out for another.
Right. So someone could just mosey on in here and do a little switcheroo.
Yeah. Because, again, this is the thing where it's like, people are more suspicious about things going missing than they are about things arriving.
Right.
Nobody is surprised when there is extra inventory,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. So they also...
And it seems like the discrepancies are like sentences.
Yeah. And there's no robust or any really security with which to check.
Hey, was there suspicious activity the other day before the...
I mean, like, there's like moderate security, but it's basically amounts to a locked door.
Well, that's never stopped anyone from murdering someone before, so...
in Pirate Town? No, I sure hope no one here is able to bust open locks in the Lazar principalities.
Miraldine literally just said sometimes it's more profitable to break the law, so, like...
Yeah, so I can't very well ask a lock, like, hey, weapon with
But
me
it's
here.
also
Well,
like...
you can see what kind of magic someone would know, or like things people would know to have to get in here.
Yeah.
It's definitely like, this is sort of a intelligence history all-in-one check that you nat 20'd on, so it's like, like with enough planning and dedication, it would be easy to get this, to get that slipped in.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Can I ask? Oh, Rum? No. Is the implication then that she hasn't read it back?
Yes.
Well,
She hasn't read it back since it's been printed.
She's about to.
So I'm imagining her like, I stand by what I published, reads it. Oh my god, what the hell is this?
Yeah. Well, I've done my job. Bye.
Dust hands.
Yeah, imagine reading your draft 3 times over, and then when you go to submit it and print it, somebody changes the document file in the last, like, 2 minutes before it goes through the printer.
Terrifying.
Yep. Well, good.
Good to know. Someone's busy last night.
So,
or however long.
Yeah, so this would have arrived last night, possibly, and could have been bundled into the printing that happened that morning. Is that how that could have worked?
The print, it would have been like, it's like, the time frame is like a matter of days.
Right.
Yeah, sorry. Pardon me.
Cool. Oh, I don't suppose there's any way I can get my hands on that slip, that particular article, the original article slip that was given to the press.
Make a persuasion check.
True.
Do I get advantage because I'm waving the Madani symbol around?
I think this is just a straight check.
Persuasion.
The fact that you're a Madani is why you're in here.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh!
Hey, you don't need advantage.
Yeah. I'm just persuasive.
You have it. You get the copy of the original.
Nice.
Or rather, you get the original text that was sent. Typewritten out.
Yeah, so this is the altered one. They never received the original. Cool. Well, I'll just take that then.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine there's nothing I can do to check it. I imagine this is the kind of thing I want to take to quote-unquote forensics.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do with it.
Yep.
Did you? Oh, can you take it to the Panoply? Oh no, because I guess they might be like. Nah, yeah, Brina can call her in. Never mind. Sorry, I'm just musing out loud.
All good.
Yeah. Well,
Holy
I
Becky.
think if there's nothing else specifically for me to check, Audrey might start making her way back around for her shift at the stakeout.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Okay. We cut to Herringbone Way, where Willow is entering into the slightly too nice office compared to the building of the Scuttlebutt.
Hmm. You know what? I'm going to specify. Willow kept their bandana on under their hat. Because I was talking about them tucking their ears. I think they have actually got just the Fen bandana on, and they have also like unbuttoned their blue shirt a bit. They are dressed a little bit differently than usual in the sense where they look a little less dapper, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
They might
A
even
little
be wearing
more context
boots.
appropriate.
Yeah. They might even have swapped their boots. I was talking before about their shoes. I think they're cool to swap their boots over. They keep all their stuff in their pockets, so it's easy to just.
You do a full wardrobe change in the back of a cart, in the back of a cab.
Yeah. Was doing the like, because their boots are like calf-ish. I just imagined them like lying on their back on the seat and like pulling their boots on while thinking very hard. 1,000-yard stare thinking. But anyway, yeah. And they're a bit like nervous as they approach, but
yeah.
We good. Bucked up by the time we open the door to go into the place.
Okay. So, you enter the sort of excessively furnished, I would describe it as, office of the Scuttlebutt. You see that there's like some gold paint framed things. There's all the markings of somebody who wants to be rich but isn't.
Oh.
It's the slightly trashy, gaudy decor of somebody who wants to show off wealth but isn't actually in wealthy circles.
Yeah.
It's the rhinestone-studded Rolex knockoff aesthetic of it all. But there are, like, 10 different writers with, like, 14 different articles juggling amongst each other. There's sort of a manic energy to this whole place, which is really more like 4 rooms, not so much a proper office space. It's somebody has like repurposed an apartment for a newspaper press, and the signs are very clear of that, just with the way the like corridor and the layout and all that is. But you can clearly see that the boss is present on the floor. A large, orcish man with a big gold tusk and a somewhat ill-fitted suit is walking around saying stuff like, "You got any more news on that Elm front? Let's see if we can churn out another one of those." Like the sound of like typewriters and scribbling and that sort of thing, when he spots you coming in and says, "Hello, who are you then?"
Can I do a quick perception check around here? I'm doing
What
that
you're
upon
looking
entering.
for? Yeah.
Just what kind of, if there's any like security in this place, any like magic around. Maybe Arcana check then.
Yeah, sure, Arcana check. So this is a ground floor apartment. You can tell that there has been some slapdash but heavy-duty soundproofing on the back wall of the room. And like you see somebody open a door to come in and out briefly, and you hear the loud clanking of the printing press being operated in the back room. Other than that, it is literally just like an apartment. So at most there is an alarm spell to prevent like burglary, but it's not especially robust.
Yep. And do I recognize anyone in here?
No, I don't think so.
Sweet. So he just said something about
So he just like, you're a stranger, what you doing here?
Willow's gonna take a moment. Like, they have very casual hands in pockets looking around, like, even though he spoke to them. But I think they will raise a hand and say, I might have a hot tip.
Oh yeah? Well, come on in then.
That easy, huh? Willow just continues in. God, is he tall?
Yeah.
Uh,
He's about same size-ish as Luca, maybe a little bit shorter, but like wide.
Brick. Yeah.
Brick house.
Yeah. Willow's gonna sort of look around. And, they'll offer their hand. Sorry, pardon me, what was your name?
Thaddeus Lloyd, called me Todd.
Todd. Okay, well, Todd, nice to meet you. Is this your...
Establishment? Yeah. I'm the boss around these parts. You tell me
Good,
you have
then
a hot
you're-
tip?
Yes.
What?
The... Willow's like, keep talking over me. No, possibly not for the ground floor. Is there anywhere more private to speak?
Right, follow me into my office.
Willow's got like a wince when he turns around that is like, this is so easy. But they're not surprised. They will follow.
Mm-hmm. So, you enter Todd Lloyd's office.
Thaddeus.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Lloyd. Alright. What's the office like?
Even more gaudy than the front of house, which you realize now was actually like quite tasteful in comparison. This dude has like a way too big desk and a way too big like leather armchair with like a little gold plated name.
Yeah, his name.
That
I was waiting for that.
on the like a little like desk thing that says boss on it. Not even editor-in-chief. He's just the boss.
Okay. Willow, is there any place for Willow to sit, or is he just gonna sit and let them stand?
Yes, there is a more modest chair on the other side of the desk. So,
Okay.
he pulls out like this fancy-looking notebook with a pencil and licks the tip. What's the tip?
Before
What's the
then, I was
goss?
actually going to ask, do you accept, not to say testimony, do you accept gossip only from word of mouth, or do you accept letters as well?
Oh, we'll take whatever we can get.
Oh, that's charitable of you. Well, do many people visit you
course.
in person?
We get a few here and there, but mostly we have to go and sleuth these things out ourselves. Journalist work is all about finding that scoop. You gotta have a nose for it.
You have recently released a big pile of scoops, dare I say. Recently, what was the tip-off for that?
Oh, well, that's... newspaper confidentiality between the journalist and the source, you know?
Ah, so you had a source. I'm going to insight check, perhaps?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
I think you're just kind of, like, off-put by the vibes.
Yeah.
Especially because he keeps asking you about what you are going to tell him, so you don't really get time to think.
Yeah, that's cool. I did, anyway, so I'll cut to it. I'll be honest, I have some hot goss, as it were, but I would like it in exchange for some information about your potential source.
Well, we'll have to see how good the gossip is.
Of course.
Not all information is born equal, right?
Of course. But I have your word that if I do tell you something mildly interesting, then... or quite interesting? Then I
Quite
might know a little bit
interesting.
more about your sources. Okay, so
Sure.
your source is only quite important. Okay, Willow's going to think. Well, I don't know how much information or how much you care for the overall political climate of the principalities, whether that interests you at all.
We'll see.
What do you make of the tension between the High Prince and Baron Elah?
Oh, well, we'll see if that gets stoked up anymore. I mean, our biggest story yet.
Windfall, I think.
You could say that.
I do wonder what will happen at the end of this with Thurani catching all the attention. Do you think High Prince Raga might push them out?
Oh, who knows? Wouldn't that be a story, though? High Prince banishes House of Shadows.
Yes, after they've been banished already. Do you know anything about that?
What, the Shadow Schism? That's old news.
But what if it's new news?
What do you mean?
What if this is House Fialin again?
House Yarlin making a move to make Thurani look bad, bring him back into the fold, or kill the house outright in its infancy. That's something.
And then,
he makes down notes.
And then take foothold here instead. I think that'd be quite useful.
That'd be interesting. A little bit interesting, but I doubt many people care that much if one elf gets swapped out for another. You got anything better? Something juicy. Something personal.
Willow's musing, rubbing their finger on their chin. Also coming to terms with, yeah, okay, no one cares about politics. That's fine. Willow's going to lean in now. Alright, well, I have something a little more personal, though it's not my style to share such things.
You're here in the wrong place if that's what your principles lie.
Yeah, maybe so. Willow's going to look both ways and then lean in. I was at the auction hall.
Oh?
Indeed, I heard the captain and her late boyfriend arguing.
Oh.
Seems that there was some trouble, as you already have spoken about in your fine publication.
Any details?
She claims that he was suffering headaches, that they were consistent. And he, of course, denied it. He made some commentary about, what was it? Being able to fight his own battles. I'm not sure if you heard, but Captain Miraldine challenged someone to a duel for his honor that evening.
Oh, now that's new news. Challenge somebody to a duel. Do we know who? Why?
I forget the name, but he was insulting Mr. Elham. So she did it for his honor, but it seemed that Tarek was not necessarily grateful for the gesture.
He's sort of losing steam. This isn't really inspiring me.
But what I found interesting, Willow's continuing anyway. The headaches, I decided to look into it a little bit more myself. And it seems that Mr. Elham had been suffering headaches for a long while, and that there was a high possibility that he was being poisoned.
Oh, poisoned, you say? Now that's something. We can start on that. Yeah, all right. Now that's a tip. That's an article. Poisoning. Being poisoned. How long? Do you know? Since before the auction. Well, he died there, so...
Well, it's just watching him. There's something like kind of... No, the camera will see there's a little bit of a dark flicker about Willow's face as they're watching him be like, oh yeah, poison, whoa, yeah, poison. But it is tempered easily, and Willow's just watching his reaction as he takes the bait, really.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's answering his own questions, then Willow won't offer any more, but is he looking to them?
No, he is looking to you on that last question of like, for how long do we know?
Willow floats their hand around, perhaps a few months. I'm not quite sure. I'm not involved in the investigation myself. I just poked around.
All right. I'll have to send a runner in to look into it more.
Maybe. Either way, it is suspicious for anybody who was alone with Mr. Elham. Or publicly, I suppose there are many ways to poison a person. But I tend to find that poisons come from inside the crew, so to speak.
Somebody close to Elham was poisoning him. For what reason? Was that related
Not
to the murder?
entirely sure.
He's like jotting down notes.
Yeah. Willow's like, suppose that's for you to find out, but that does sound like a very fascinating article.
That's something, all right. So, tit for tat, what do you want to know?
I would like to know about your tip-offs.
We had a dwarven fella come in, was covering his face. You know, that old rat. Pretty fancy, had some rings on his fingers. Gave us the tip. Couldn't tell you anything more about him, though.
Can I have... Alright. What do I have to do to have magically tinkered to record that? Because Willow would have been setting
sleight
up
of
for that.
hand. Sleight of hand check.
Nice.
Easy.
Dirty
Nice.
20, baby.
Yeah, I imagine Willow did it by putting their hand up near their cheek, and they have just rubbed one of their earrings.
Mm-hmm.
They had this outfit has like whenever they're wearing this outfit, they usually have earrings that help weigh down their ears as an aside, and they have just like recorded that little section. Yep. And they're just resting their cheek on their knuckles and listening to him with a nod. Master dwarf with rings. That's interesting.
Yeah. Seemed like a fancy fella. Good taste.
You didn't... Good taste. Of course, that's why he's here.
Now you're just flattering me.
If it works. Willow's pondering. Well, I suppose I'll see what articles you bring about with my information. Perhaps I'll come back.
Now, you're welcome if you do. Doors over that way. I've got work to do.
All the best. Willow's going to stand up and head out.
You head out. He nods you on your way out, and then 2 seconds after you exit the actual office building, you hear the roaring voice of Thaddeus Lloyd saying, "New article, fellas."
He's too much.
Willow does a big zigzag flinch and then settles themselves and keeps walking.
Yeah.
Walking back the same path that Warfred would have walked. Oh god.
Busy man, Warfred. Busy man. Assuming you're the only one doing all this. Anyway.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. I don't know if we
Oh my god.
want to go to Luca or want to go to Audrey taking her shift with Brina. Or what?
I think let's finish off with Luca. You have accompanied Captain Frostroot to the dock. You are... Give me a perception check.
Oh, yes. Hasty. God, my chair is loud. I'm sorry. Receptione. Wow. Okay.
Oh no. Oh boy.
I see nothing. I'm focusing on her emotional state.
Yes.
That's my excuse.
Yeah. You are making sure she arrives at the ship and that nobody gets close, even if you're not particularly paying attention to who's around you.
Mm-hmm.
You're more proximity focused than you are person focused at this moment in time.
Yes.
Meraldine thanks you for your service and says, "Oh, before you go, wait right here." Goes into her cabin and returns with a letter. Hand this over to the detectives.
Oh, of course. If you need protection again, I'm at the Gold Dragon.
Duly noted. Have a good night, darling.
You as well, Captain.
And she is off.
And I suppose I'm off to deliver a letter.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
am I.
Converging. Oh, but I don't know that Brina's at stakeout, so I'm going to go to her office and sit and wait.
Yeah.
She'll come get you for the stakeout when we swap out, probably. When I take her place.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think, at this point, it's late afternoon, edging into evening.
Mm-hmm.
Luca basically spent the whole day in the company of Meraldine Frostert.
Lucky me.
And, you certainly did ward off any unwanted attention for her. I imagine that, people took one look at you, one look at the sword at your hip, and was like,
Nah, I'm not fucking with that. Like the guy that sees the bison, the reporter that sees the bison.
yeah. Oh no, I'm not messing with you.
Packs away the camera.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice. I'm a good boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I will maybe drop off the letter, because I don't know that I'm supposed to be staking out, and then head back
Yeah,
to...
I think you hand it over to Celia, who
Yeah.
handles the post. Have a nice little chat about this and that. She offers you tea.
Yeah. Politely decline, because I'm going to get back and catch up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I know yet that stakeout has started. I don't think I expected it to start today, so
Yeah.
I'm assuming I'll get back to Audrey and Willow at the hotel. Yeah.
Okay. How to finish this session off? I think we have time for like maybe one more scene.
Should we start the stakeout?
Or-
I kind of feel
Yeah,
that would be
let's
fun.
say. Let's say. Actually, I think Celia would have passed along the message to Luca that like, Brina and Audrey have started the stakeout already.
Yeah.
So you can just wait here or go back and like.
Rena will come get you while Audrey's on shift.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah, okay. Then yeah, I suppose I'd wait around.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to swing back to Audrey and Brina.
Okay. In which case, we swap over to Audrey coming back to where Brina has been loitering. I think at this point she is kind of like sort of half slouched, seeming like she's dozing with her eyes closed over a newspaper article.
Is she still at a cafe, or is she...
Yeah.
Because I think Audrey might, like, get her a coffee and arrive on the scene to her slouched at the table and place a coffee in front of her, like, with a bit of, like, power to, like, startle her if she's actually is dosing.
You set it down and there's no reaction to the noise, but a second later she inhales and comes to with the smell and says, well, that's nice. Sorry, I was listening to Peter.
Working hard, yes. Anything interesting?
Mhm.
I think Audrey asks in message.
Brina sort of coughs into her coffee, and then replies in the message, Mr. Bartosz left around afternoon with purpose and has yet to return.
Alright. Sounds like he might have been rather busy then.
Audrey's gonna subtly slide the paper that she acquired earlier across the table and fill Brina in on that whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
Figure it might be worth
Yes.
looking into.
Interesting.
Someone is trying to control this narrative, but we knew that already.
Yeah. Well. Glad we left Luca with Captain Frostroot then.
Indeed.
Seems like she could use all the protection she can get.
I have a feeling it's only going to get worse from here. But
You might be right.
with any luck, we'll cut it off before it can get too far.